Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the next episode of Final Stallions!
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the next episode of Vinyl Stallions. Today we have an awesome guest for you, Mr. Tim Houston, joining us from Albany, New York.
Tim, welcome to the podcast.
Yeah, hey, how's it going? Nice to meet you all.
Nice to meet you too, Tim. We appreciate you taking time out of your day to talk with us. And so I guess, we were introduced by a mutual friend, Tanner Wirtz. Shout out to Tanner.
Big shout out.
Oh, yeah.
And he introduced us to you as a touring member of the band Remo Drive. I'm sure that's, a big part of what you're doing. I'm sure there's other things you're doing. We're going to talk about it all. But
sure.
I guess to start, so you're a guitarist. How did you originally get into guitar?
Oh, man. I got wow. I don't think about it much, I guess. It just seemed like something obvious, I guess. Like when I was a kid, it was like the only thing that was really cool, Musicians are cool. Music's cool. The way it feels to hear like different types of music for the first time when you're a kid is like, it's wild, The first type of music I played was like worship music too. So that was probably involved with it. Just upbringing wise. And my dad was like a big, he had a CD collection that I would go through as a kid, just trying to find like trying to find good music nuggets in there. Music was just always the coolest thing that I knew about at all. So I always wanted to be involved.
And did you take lessons early on?
Playing guitar, but what was that, Spruce?
Did you take lessons early on?
No, I was self-taught.
Okay.
I actually started on euphonium which is like a trombone range tuba, basically.
Got you.
Yeah, so a weird mid-range instrument that no one knows about.
I was gonna say I've heard of it, but can't really exactly know.
I wouldn't know what one looks like.
I feel like I've
functions almost as like reverb in an orchestra. Like you can't even really hear it.
Damn.
It's nice though, no hate. All respect to the euphonium, but
nah, baby, bring that on
really
Beyonce.
Well,
I asked that about lessons because you say it was really cool. There's been so many conversations on Vinyl Stallions that people, and even including myself, piano early on in my life, just you take some lessons and you're like, this fucking sucks. Like Marietta Little Lamb can only be played so many times, and it really just turns off a light switch for you, or it has for many people that we've talked about. So that's interesting. You're self-taught.
Yeah, I mean, that did unlock a core memory, though, because I did take piano lessons when I was really young, and I hated it. It was, the worst thing I could stand. I completely forgot about it. I guess I blocked it out. But
that's funny. No, exactly. We've had, again, so many people talk about it like that, so I had to ask.
Yeah, it's hard to find a good teacher, but they're out there for sure. And then my dad, he had a guitar at the house. That I asked him to play for a couple years, and he was like, yeah, maybe we'll see. How about you? You're doing baseball right now, do baseball, or you're doing basketball right now, do basketball. But eventually, he let me play, and then I didn't put it down after that. So that was 2007 or something like that. So
that's awesome. Yeah, another interesting thing you mentioned was your father's CD collection. That's something that's come up on this podcast a lot. Is just
I bet.
How formidable that can be, and how much of your music taste you can just get from the CDs that your parents just happen to have lying around the house. What was some of the stuff that your dad was into?
He's that was kind of the cool thing is he had so much different types of music that it's I almost wasn't even looking for bands. I was looking for genres. It was so wide. I guess in his collection though, I listened to a lot of Pink Floyd.
Can't go wrong.
Jethro Tull I listened to a lot of.
Oh,
He was
I
like a
love
huge Jethro Tull fan.
Hell yeah.
So that was interesting. I saw them play a couple times when I was a kid.
That's sick.
Yeah,
I'm
Brian
sure
Eno
they
was in
put on a
there.
great show.
David Bowie, King Crimson was in there. Yeah, ZZ Top. Listen to a lot of that.
Yeah, ZZ Top's incredible.
Mm-hmm.
So when did your guitaring transfer over into wanting to actually start like playing out, and like how early did you get involved in that scene?
I think that was around 2009 or 2010. So it took me like 2 or 3 years to feel comfortable on the guitar. Well, I mean, I guess I always wanted to play, but probably took me a while to have any business playing. I would have tried it if I could, but someone just it was like my friend's older brother just hit me up and was like, "Hey, you want to like we're practicing like a couple blocks away if you want to like come by." And I was like, might as well ran there. And then played with them for a while, and that was the first band, but I started playing in multiple bands every year since then.
Has it all been sort of the same genre or
No,
different?
it's been really really anything. I've played in I play a lot of jazz, like in Baltimore. I play less up here in Albany because there's just not too many people playing. Well, I mean, I don't know them yet. I guess there's people here playing jazz, but I don't know who they are. But yeah, jazz, rock. I've played in a mathcore band. Like I said, I grew up like playing worship music, like I was saying, folk bands, pop stuff. So I'm just like straight up noise, non-palatable music that I really like, but I've done a bunch of that. So just really anything.
That's
and I guess that
spectrum.
extended into like, now I'm playing keyboard and pedal steel a lot. Like in Remo Drive, I play guitar, pedal steel, and keys. So I just love music for music. Just want to learn anything I can,
Yeah, that's wild because pedal steel is like a country instrument.
Yeah. It's gnarly too. It's a tough one.
Yeah, it's hard to find just somebody that plays that instrument in general, but then to also play it well.
Yeah, I'm working on playing it well, but I think I'm all right at it now.
How many
but that's
pedals are on
exactly,
that? Is there always multiple pedals on a pedal steel?
Yeah, like the standard. Well, there's like different tunings. So there's like the Nashville like country picking one, and then there's like the C6 tuning, which is like Hawaiian, like all the like SpongeBob SpongeBob ditties are on that. Yeah.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
So like the one that I'm familiar with is like the Nashville tuning 1E9, and that has like 3 pedals, and then there's 4 like knee levers that you also use, which I didn't even know about until I got the instrument. So it's really a lower body instrument more than an upper body instrument, which I didn't think was going to be a classification of instrument when I got into playing, but I guess it is.
That's a full body instrument, man.
Yeah.
Again, like you, I've only seen it from like the stands, so I've never even like sat down. Would have never known there's knee pedals. That's interesting as hell, man.
It's not too visually interesting to watch either. It just looks like someone's sitting at a table. So
it looks like you're like knitting or like sewing up there.
Yeah,
you're like moving the thing.
And if you're at the right height, you can't even see the string, so it just looks like someone's hands floating around.
You're just prepping the dinner table.
Yeah.
That's funny.
What prompted you to learn steel?
So I'm like I said, I moved up to Albany, I guess 2.5 years ago or so, and I was like playing in my girlfriend's band, and the drummer played musicals, and they were doing like a country musical, and they needed a pedal steel player. And because I'm in Albany, they were like, there's just less people, so it was like, I need to find a pedal steel player now. No one knows how to play this. It's not too easy to learn either. So like, what the heck? And I just happened to be doing a musical at the same time. Just, Instagram storied, hey, I'm doing a musical. And right away he hit me up. He's like, you want to learn pedal steel? And I'm like, oh yeah, definitely.
Down.
Like, I always have wanted to, and he was like, yeah, just learn it and you've got the gig. So then I spent a summer playing like Tammy Wynette songs and by the end of the summer, I could play it like fairly well. So it's a good deal.
Right on. Yeah,
No,
that's wild.
yeah, that's a kick-ass way. I mean, dude, it sounds like you're involved in like everything. When you say you're involved in like musicals as well, like what does that look like? Are you involved with many other musicians that are all practicing the same thing? Yeah, break that down because I don't know if we've ever had anyone on this podcast that is involved in musicals.
Yeah, I honestly wish I wish I was a little more involved. Honestly, they just kind of show up incidentally. Um, just since I do play a bunch of different styles, I guess, and I'm down to clown generally.
Yeah,
I think it just people ask me here and there, but yeah, I mean, it's as like from a musician standpoint, it's great being able to play the same music every night over and over and over again. Um, yeah, it's like it's really cool. It feels probably I describe it a lot this way, where it's like I'm not a comedian, so I don't know what that's like, but I'm imagining it's like refining like a stand-up set or something, where you're like trying to make what you're playing have more of an impact on stage or link with different actors' cues and stuff every night.
yeah, that's
it's a really
interesting.
interesting way to play music. I feel like.
Yeah, playing off the actors and actresses. That's interesting. I didn't even think about doing that. And um, is it a lot of like solo practicing, or like since it is like all the same music that you're all getting, or is it very much collaborating?
Yeah, it's normally like written music. I think that's probably another thing is like I can read music as a guitarist, which is like exceedingly rare. Um, and it's just because I'm a nerd like that. Like I don't know, it just scratched some itch, so I ended up learning it. I don't think people need to learn it. Whatever, it seems it's pretty arbitrary unless you're trying to play a musical. But yeah, it's normally like all written out, so it's you're just playing written music. But there's a bunch of like waiting for someone to say a word or waiting for something to happen on stage. So that's a fun. That's a fun like relationship to have with the music too. It's like waiting for some sound to happen. Sometimes you're not even on the stage. Sometimes you're not even in the room. So it's like, yeah, it's a really interesting experience. I love it though. It's great.
Love it. Very, very cool.
Generally, like how many other musicians are there for something like that?
I'd say probably, at least the tier of musical I'm doing. Usually it's like 4 or 5 extra people.
Okay. So it's, yeah, like the size of a typical rock band.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's normally drums, bass, guitar, and then like at least one woodwind player, at least one horn player that can kind of switch through the stuff that needs doing.
Okay.
But it really depends. I mean, like that country musical, there was a fiddle player, But I also did I think the first musical I ever did was Evil Dead, the musical. So that was just like 80s rock and roll stuff. And that was just like drums, bass, guitar. That was sick. That was
I gotta check that out, dude. It's one of my
Yeah.
favorite movies.
It was also kind of cool because I don't really, I mean, before playing musicals, I just didn't. It wasn't my thing. Musicals in general. I'm like, that's cool. That's not for me or whatever. But after playing them, I'm kind of hooked on it. But I don't know. I still don't attend usually, but I like the idea of it.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Very cool. So yeah, let's talk about Remo Drive a little bit because I know we had just talked and you had just come off a tour here in November. So yeah, take us back. How did you link up with like Remo Drive and how did you join them?
Yeah. So like I said, I just moved to Albany recently, and Eric from Remo Drive moved to Albany because his girlfriend lived there. I moved to Albany because my girlfriend lived there. So we just got chatting because of that. We're both like shy, nice fellows that didn't know anybody in a small city. So we just eventually started talking, and we're both musicians, so we could talk about that. We got along really well. And then he wanted pedal steel on the new record they just put out, Mercy, and that was like right around the time. I mean, I think exactly at the same time I started learning it. So like, yeah, I think I had it for maybe a week And then he was like, "Do you want to record on this?" And I was like, "Yeah, I definitely do, but I'm just gonna square with you. I don't know how to play this at all. So just be patient, and we can get stuff on the, we can lay it down, but it's gonna be tricky." And then we just spent a weekend putting the tracks on there, and it worked out. I'm I'm a way better pedal steel player than I was then, but I guess I was just good enough for it to work out.
It's always the pedal steel. This is what I'm under. Yeah, well, hang on a minute. The pedal steel needs more street cred. If I'm understanding that he was like, "Yo, we need this," and as well. Yeah. That's wild. And so, did you know Eric before moving to Albany?
No, not at all. I don't think I even heard Remo Drive before then. I mean, I'm sure I did somewhere because it's in the same type of music I listen to and stuff like that. But I never had a Remo Drive listening era before playing with them or anything like that.
How does that work? I guess like when you're playing a show, because a lot of their basically every album before that most recent one, Mercy, is like a lot more just sort of like indie punk rock driven. Do you create a steel pedal part for those songs? Do you play another instrument? Do you not play at all? How does it work?
Yeah, so I just play pedal steel on the new record, and on the old songs I'll play guitar and keys, and I play guitar and keys on the live set for the new record as well. But all the pedal steel, at least for now, is just on the Mercy record stuff, and occasionally I'll play stuff that's a little different than the record, just because there's a lot going on that record. So I feel like the big challenge with playing with them, but also the best part about playing with them is figuring out how to orchestrate all of the parts on the instruments that we have available and the amount of people on stage that we have.
Yeah.
So sometimes I'm playing pedal steel parts on keys, sometimes I'm playing keys on pedal steel, sometimes I'm playing guitar on keys, but just trying to get the live set as representative of the recorded sound as possible. It's a fun task. I love it.
Yeah, that's wild. Just having to have that diversity of instruments in your arsenal.
And so that record was just released in October of this year. So about, not even, 2 months ago or so. And you said he had asked you, what was the process of making that record? Was there a studio, or is it mostly kind of at home studio?
Yeah, I was at the tail end of it. I think it was even mostly recorded when he asked me to play on it. But I know they recorded it in Seattle, and they did a lot of tracking. I think they did some tracking on their own as well. I know Phil Eck worked on it, which was really cool because the first record I ever had on my iPod was a record that Phil Eck worked on.
Damn.
So I remember when Eric told me that, it was like a full circle moment. I'm like, oh, that's crazy. That's so cool. Unfortunately, I had to hear my week one pedal steel playing, but he made it sound great. So that's great. Good job. Yeah.
That's kick-ass. That's very, very cool. That is full circle as well. You have me thinking about what my first song was, and I think it's got to be "Welcome to the Black Parade," My Chemical Romance. So it's definitely my first song on my Nano.
That's awesome.
And again, you just went on tour pretty much all of November. And how was that process? Have you been on tours like that before?
I've toured a bunch, but these are the longest ones I've done, and to the most people, on average, for sure. So it's been awesome. It's especially, I don't know, being in Baltimore for as long as I was and playing the amount of music I was, and then moving to Albany and suddenly playing just about none. It was nice to flip the script a little bit and start playing big ones. So yeah.
Do you have any? Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah. There's a great band to play with too, and really nice people. So it makes the touring really, really easy because it's sometimes not that way,
Yeah, exactly. Now we've heard stories, and again, we've talked to bands that are just trying to even make that step to be able to take a couple weeks and do that. And yeah, I just love asking. Are there any tips and tricks that you learn? Things don't do, things do on coming fresh off tour that you would heed to fellow musicians?
Yeah, just sleep as much as you possibly can. I feel like if you don't have enough sleep, you sound worse and you're more aggravated. And I feel like that's just how that's how you get in fights with yourself, and that's how you get in fights with your band, and that's how you get in fights with, even like in the little ways. I feel like if everyone's just well rested, the touring is easy and fun. Eat like way less than you think you need to. Like
I
went
could see that for sure.
Yeah.
We did a longer tour this summer, and I came home and I weighed 20 pounds heavier, and I was like, "Holy crap!" That's fine, but
Nah.
it was a surprise.
No, I feel that to a T.
Yeah, but yeah, I think just have fun on the tour and front load all the work. Like, just make sure you're as prepared as possible, and then every day is just like a dream come true rather than work.
Yeah, 100%, man. It's crazy how much planning can truly go into something like that, and it's wild to, I'm sure, see it all come together. And is it so? How many people do you have joining you outside of the band members on the road as well?
This last tour we had one. Sometimes you have someone remote, but it changes a lot, especially with that band. I know they have a long history before me, so I know it's different for them, like all the time. But
shout out to
yeah,
that.
and also I'm new to that whole world, like touring with them. There's like tour managers and merch people, and the tours I used to do before was just hoping that someone's car would survive the whole thing, and bringing friends along that weren't doing anything in particular, and but yeah.
No, shout out to those people. There's always one person that will roll with a band on tour, and that
For
person
sure.
deserves that credit. So shout out to you.
Yeah.
What would you typically do, like from the time you wake up to the time that you have to like be at the venue, like for good for the night?
Like just like what's a full day look like?
Yeah.
Wake up, get breakfast, jump in the van, drive to the venue, and that's normally just like a blur that's mostly doom scrolling and looking out the window. Great tour tip is get a Nintendo Switch for sure, because that time period is so much better and honestly healthier for you if you just have a video game to play. It's like the only time you can play video games guilt-free as an adult is if you're touring in a van.
Right.
So, and then we'd get to the venue, do a sound check, go out, get dinner, play the show, load up the van, hang out, eat again, and go to sleep, which sounds very lackluster, but it's a pretty like simple but intense way to live, I guess.
And what did this tour have you all rolling? Like, did you go like what was your circuit like?
It was a full US. We did like 3 full USs this year. One of them had Toronto and Vancouver in it, but that's almost the same. Yeah, just dip into Canada for a bit and come back down.
Yeah.
Were all 3 of those tours with Remo Drive?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for me that was all Remo Drive tours this year, and then one was a headliner, one was a co-headliner, and one was a support tour. So it was kind of cool for me to experience all of those, because I'm used to just like more DIY touring, where it's like a lot of house shows, a lot of dive bars, occasionally a bigger venue, but that's So this is new to me. That was cool.
I guess, what are some of the differences between those experiences that stand out to you, like a more DIY tour versus like playing with an established band?
Yeah, I guess with a DIY tour, there's a lot more surprises. But it's also like there's less stuff to do. Like you kind of just roll up, plug in, and play, but you might also be getting electrocuted during your set. Or like there might not be anyone there, or there might be way too many people there, or trying to find places to sleeping in parking lots, all that stuff. That's like the DIY experience, but it's really fun. I don't I would do it all again if I could, and I'm sure I will. That's how music is. But And then the stuff with Remo is just a little bit more. It's a little more set because there's other people taking care of things and things like that. But so yeah, I would be surprised if we were getting electrocuted on stage.
Yeah, there's got to be a story in there.
Yeah, it's actually unfortunately happened a couple times where it's just not like a big cartoonish, hair standing on its end electrocution, but just like touching my strings and feeling it in my feet, or touching a microphone to my lips, and then you feel the same, the electric. Probably happens more than people like to talk about.
Yeah, Klep. I think that's happened a couple times in your basement.
What causes that? I genuinely don't know. Like
Too
I
many
play
chords.
drums, so.
Too many chords. Yeah, no.
Is that
I've
all
had.
it is? It's not like an issue with like the voltage or anything like that.
It probably is.
And I'm sure that's why it happens in DIY tours, because if you have a house, you don't have to be an electrician. You just But if you have a venue, you need someone knowing what's going on.
100p. Very nice. Well, no, very cool. And do you guys have anything planned in 2025 already?
Still in the works.
Okay, just all
I think they're
together with
writing a
new
little bit
music. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Nice. That'll be exciting. I will definitely have to keep an eye out here. Yeah. We'll hope you all come through Ohio once again, because we'll definitely make a mark to come on out, and we'll join Tana this time over on Frankie's.
Nice. Yeah.
But yeah, you say you mentioned a shit ton of different just music genres in general. I'm interested in like what, I don't know, I guess music you listen to, artists you listen to, whether it be local, like Baltimore, Maryland. I mean, we had aren't the Pitcher Playing Ping Pong Boys from Baltimore?
I believe so. Yeah, I saw that you had them on.
Yeah. Big fans of those guys. But I'm trying to think who else, if we had anyone else on. Shaw Calhoun is from Baltimore. Klep, correct?
Yeah, I think it's Silver Spring, Maryland is the name of the town he's from.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We had him on a couple years ago as well. Just a very talented rapper in that area. But yeah, give some shout outs. This is my favorite part.
Yeah. The Baltimore scene is awesome. It's slept on because it's in between DC and Philly and New York, but it's the spot. Baltimore hardcore is incredible. There's a band Wormhole from there, which has like one of the best drummers I've ever seen in the metal world. Then the jazz scene there is also like crazy. I miss it every day being up in Albany. There's I don't know, all the jazz adjacent stuff there in Baltimore is pretty incredible.
And is it like open mic kind of jam nights that you're going to, or just resident?
No, I mean, to be perfectly honest, I hate those a lot. It's more like I guess it like they normally float around in the DIY scene. Be like it looks like a jazz band, but it doesn't sound like a jazz band, but you're not sure exactly what it sounds like. That's my type of thing down there. It's like a very small crowd, or like a small scene, but it's like so dense and good down there. Yeah.
Okay. I haven't been to too many jazz clubs. Guilty enough. I've only been to like 2 in my life, but every time it's just like you say, you're just like seeing the greatest drummer you've ever seen in your life, just in the smallest like club ever. I'm like, holy shit.
Yeah. It's dope.
Yeah, and even like outside of Baltimore in general. Yeah, if you got any artists that you've been listening to recently.
Oh yeah. Let's see, artists I've been listening to that band Howdy a lot. Like HOVVDY. I love them. That's like more on the poppier side of things I listen to. But I just love them for what their, I guess, melody choices are just like spot on to me. Okay. This band Big Head I'm super into recently. They're from, I believe, Denton or maybe Dallas-Fort Worth area. They're pretty awesome. Let's see. Starflyer 59. It's like shoegaze. They have a new record called Lust for Gold, or I think it's new, Lust for Gold, that I love. Been listening to that on repeat.
Kick ass.
Yes,
Yeah.
your taste really is all over the place.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know myself sometimes. I don't even know why I like certain things, I guess, anymore. But
No, I mean, I get it. Yeah, my taste floats all over the place too. Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, we talked a lot about the Remo Drive stuff. Are there any other bands that you're in or projects you're involved in currently?
for sure, yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna do. I did a trio, like jazz adjacent type thing or I guess it was recorded pre-pandemic, but we released it during the pandemic. I'm gonna go down and record another one of those this year, which I'm excited about.
Sweet.
And that's
What's the
just under
name
my
of the
name.
trio?
Yeah,
Okay,
it's just Tim Houston Trio under my name. Yeah, but
sweet.
so
When-
excited to do that. Love playing that type of music. I've been playing some of that type of music up here as well. I've got a friend who lives out in the middle of the Catskills in New York.
Mhm.
And we just like, I've been like when I'm not touring, I like go there and just like work on his house, like literally carrying rocks up a hill type work. And then after that, we'll jam in his basement. And we've got some recordings of that coming out. That's really fun to play in as well. That's called Earth's Children.
Okay.
Um,
Is
Yeah.
that similar genre to Tim Houston Trio?
that's a little bit more like free improv music, but I'd say it's close as compared to like the Killers or something. Very very close. Yeah.
Okay. And I guess, yeah, like back to Tim Houston Trio, when you say jazz adjacent, that could mean like a bunch of different stuff. Is it like when you're stepping like out of the jazz part, is that more like funk, more rock? Like, I guess, yeah, what's the adjacent part?
I'd say it's more like ambient experimental.
Okay.
There's a band called Paul Motion Trio, which is a jazz band from 20, 30 years ago. Paul Motion isn't around anymore, but those musicians in that scene, I guess that's the most representative sound that I can think of.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna have to check all this out. 'Cause, yeah, I mean, I feel like when you talk to someone about jazz, it's like very probable that what they're into will be different than what you're into, and then you like, you talk about it, you listen to that stuff, and it just opens another door.
For sure. I think it's tricky because it's a genre that's like just as broad, if not broader than like a genre like rock or something.
Yeah,
But it's also
absolutely.
like way less people listen to it, and people can make jazz records like as fast as they can, like it's in real time.
Yep.
It's like you get a bunch of people in a room, you play the song, and then you just send it out. Whereas like a rock record, people are trying to,
Yeah, it's very calculated.
yeah, right. So, yeah, I love jazz, but I hear you. I feel like it's a bottomless pit.
Yeah, a lot of what I listen to in jazz is like more on the fusion or like funk side. So when you're talking about like the experimental side, you got me curious.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I also like, as far as jazz goes, I like the more classic recordings as well. Like the straight ahead jazz stuff is great, or like fusion. Like I love Alan Holdsworth,
Oh, yeah, he's really good.
or like modern jazz royalty, like Julian Lage. Love Julian Lage.
Right
Yeah.
on.
Do like again for the Tim Houston Trio or anything past, like are you writing a lot of it? I know you said some of it was like improv, but are you like writing music, I guess, in your free time as well?
Yeah. And even for the Tim Houston Trio, it's like written music with like improvisation elements.
Got you.
So it depends on the song, but like sometimes we'll write a song and we're improvising over the song. Sometimes it's where we have written chunks that are like islands in between improvisations.
Okay.
I guess like Fish style or Grateful Dead style. It's
Yeah,
the sound is different, but the motor is kind of the same.
absolutely.
And then I write some singer songwriter stuff as well, but that hasn't really caught recently. So
Do you put it out
Just, still writing
anywhere,
it.
or you just write it?
I just write them. I haven't recorded them. I don't have a band at the moment, but
Got you.
I've always just written that stuff since I was a kid, and occasionally I'll put projects out, but that was a long time ago, so they're not out there, you know. But
Very nice. No, I love it, man. Well, yeah, there's getting those creative juices flowing. No matter, even if you put stuff out, is always just
Right.
incredibly helpful. And I don't know, you're making some solid moves. Is what I hear, and taking some steps for yourself with that trio. I'm excited. I'm very, very excited to actually hear that. And again, like Klep said, you've given us some homework because a lot of the names you just talked about right there, I was like, all right, I gotta, I gotta open up here in the start of 2025 a little bit different.
cool.
Do you, I guess, yeah, since we're talking about just like creating music, do you think you enjoy like the writing creation part of music more or the live performance part more?
That's a good question. I guess I guess I guess I don't see them as the same thing almost. Like I really do enjoy both. But like one feels like computer programming and the other one feels like going to a party almost, you know. Or like one feels like doing a stand-up set like I was saying before, and the other one feels like painting. I don't know, like I really do like both. I do much less like writing and composing right now. But that's probably just because I've you know, like because of Remo Drive this year, just been like learning their music and trying to put on the best show as I can. So I'm sure in the next year it'll be a little different because I'll have more time to write and stuff like that.
Very nice, very nice. Yeah, no, it's and again, when did you like? Was this your first year with Remo Drive, or did you tour with them last year as well? Okay, so
Yeah, it was my first year with them. So yeah, I put pedal steel down on the record released, and then the guy who used to play guitar for them like did the classic, you know, got a house, got a dog, got a girlfriend, got a job, all at the same time. So he was like, yeah, I don't know. Great guy, but he didn't want to tour this year. So
yeah, no, man, that's an incredible opportunity. And definitely something that's high on a lot of people's lists to be able to just say they can do these U.S. tours. And is there any city that like surprised you, stood out, that brought the energy?
I love like Toronto. I love which I've never. I mean, I guess y'all live way closer to Toronto than I do, but I don't think I ever thought about Toronto at all before that tour, and yeah, I loved it there. I think it's like such a cool place.
There's so many people there. It can be overwhelming.
Yeah, that skyline.
Yeah, I think that's kind of why I wrote it off. I was like, that's just, I don't need to know. That's just too much going on. You know, I could live a whole life not thinking about Toronto and it'll still be full. But yeah, now I'm curious. It's a great place. Great, nice people, good food, cool venues.
Yeah, that isn't far from Cleveland. Like it's seriously like a 3.5, 4 hour drive. I've been there for some baseball games and like hanging out, but yeah, haven't checked out any music there. Yeah, what it's like, but everyone's like a lot of people seem to go there as a priority stop in the area.
I guess Dallas has also kind of impressed me, specifically Denton, which is right outside of Dallas.
Okay.
I feel like those edge cities sometimes have like a lot to offer, like artistically. I could say Athens, Georgia is the same way.
Go Bulldogs.
I'd also say that's like kind of why I love Baltimore too, because Baltimore is it's a huge city, but it's a full city. It's not huge, but because it's sandwiched in between all of the other East Coast cities, I think that's why it's such a cool spot. Same thing to a lesser degree goes like to Philly because it's like in between New York City and the DC Baltimore area. Even though I think Philly's probably larger. I just think a lot of those East Coast cities, because they're sandwiched in between other spots, they have a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah, it's wild how just like packed everything is over there. Yeah, like I live in Northwest Ohio, work in Southeast Michigan, and so like everything's very spacious out where I live. And
For sure.
last year around this time, we took like my wife and I, we took a vacation out to New England area, and like just being in Massachusetts, it was shocking just like how packed everything is, like everywhere in that state.
Totally. Yeah. Yeah, it's wild. Yeah, even like I went to the West Coast for the first time this year, and that was like, it's insane how much they're like Central California is really just like grass or mountains or whatever landscape it is. It's just that there's not much else going on,
Yeah.
which is really cool in its own way. But it really blew me away being from Baltimore area. Like even the most rural parts of Maryland there's still a bunch of stuff going on.
Yeah, that's right. Spruce and I, we were actually out in like that part of Maryland where Pennsylvania and West Virginia are like all three states kind of intersect earlier this year in April.
Is that Harper's Ferry?
We were right by Harper's Ferry. I'm trying to remember the name of the city we were in, but Harper's Ferry was like close by.
Beautiful spot, yeah.
And
Yeah, it was like Friendsville. I remember it was like there. It was
that's
right
what it was.
It was like right on the border by like kind of like even like Morgantown. We did that whitewater rafting over there.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah, that's the spot. Yeah,
Yeah, no, it was dope. It was
where we
it
were
was like a whitewater rafting playground.
Yeah.
That's where we rafted in, and then we stayed out in Maryland though.
Yeah,
Nice.
And it was one of the only rivers that you could do like in April. I remember where it was like it shuts down in the season. So
the Cheat River.
That's right. Damn, that was this year. What the hell?
Yeah, that feels like a eons ago.
That's cool.
Nah, it was dope. I wish we had a JBL on there to just like rip tunes, honestly.
Yeah.
We always like anytime we go hiking, we're like, should we bring the JBL? And everyone's like, no.
Yeah.
Like, maybe you really love listening to something hot right now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That's always an interesting like dilemma, because like the protocol is like not to, but it's also like great to have music out on the hike.
When I'm deep in the woods, hanging out.
I guess it depends at who's around, what the area's like, all that.
Yeah.
True. Gotta respect the nature, but sometimes that one early Chili Peppers ripping out there.
Yeah. Nature made this too,
Yeah, there you go.
It just took a while.
It's a wood guitar, I promise.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess, Tim, do you have any like hobbies or interests outside of music?
Yeah, I love hiking too, actually.
Right on.
Yeah, I really like rock climbing as well. I did a bunch in Maryland, like right before I left. But I haven't done so much in Albany just because I haven't met too many rock climbers, but I am slowly meeting them. But I've been doing a lot of hiking since I moved. And when I was a kid, I used to go backpacking like twice a month. So, yeah, love the outdoors, love hiking, love winter camping. Probably less so now that I live more up north, but yeah, it's nice to get out there,
Winter camping specifically?
Yeah, it's yeah. I feel like there's something about like being in a place where no one else is. That's also like not like I'm in a place where I shouldn't be, but I'm in like taking advantage of something that no one else is taking advantage of, I guess.
Okay.
And like the sounds of like just winter landscapes are like really beautiful, I think, and yeah, just love being out there. It's cool.
Where are some of the places you've done like winter camping at?
I guess mostly it's been in Maryland. So like Antietam Battlefield, which is like around Gettysburg, or maybe even in Gettysburg. I'm actually not sure. I was a kid at the time, so who knows. Did a couple of winter camping trips in West Virginia. Some up in somewhere else in Maryland. I was a kid. I just got in the car, I guess. But and then I've done a couple of winter hikes up in Albany in the Adirondacks that have been like beautiful, but yeah,
nice.
Always
probably a lot of snow. Yeah,
it gets kind of spooky.
That's crazy.
That's why I kind of
man.
tapped the brakes on that winter camping thing up here. But I'm still figuring out how to do it. I guess the rules are different up here.
Got to make it work up there in the Saratoga Springs.
Yeah.
Do you? Because again, we have people on sometimes that are involved very heavily in the music scene, but still have like other jobs and stuff of that nature. And with you being so fully dived in, are you like ever like? Do you always listen to music in your free time? Are you a podcast guy, or like, is there ever a time where you're just clearing your head from the music world?
Yeah, I mean, I'd say it's about 50-50. Like if I'm listening to a podcast or if I'm listening to music or honestly, if I'm just not listening to anything at all. I feel like musicians have enough music going on in their head. They don't need to add to it sometimes.
Yeah, we hear that a lot.
Yeah. Or, like most of the guitar I play is like unplugged electric. Like, I love the sound of it, even though it's not traditionally good.
Dude, that's the shit. That is like what got me into guitar, was just like
Totally.
ripping the unplugged acoustic. And I, guilty enough, got way too into it, because then when I started jamming with friends, I'm just like, tone. Like, I don't know how anything is supposed to sound.
Yeah. I'm still trapped there. I'm still figuring things out for sure. Yeah. I mean, like even when I was learning guitar, like most of it was just like hanging out with my buddies, and I would just be playing unplugged electric because people could talk over it. So I felt like I could play as much as I wanted, and it wasn't harshing the vibe at all.
I feel that.
It's probably a good thing I picked up the guitar and not something else, because if I was playing saxophone like that, I don't think people would want to hang out as much.
Yeah, hard to mute a saxophone.
Yeah.
Yeah, even like an acoustic guitar, it's not like super loud, but it is like notably louder than an unplugged electric for sure.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
I'm guessing that's probably because the hollow like body of an acoustic, is that right?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Okay.
It's meant to be. But that's it's interesting. Like, again, just how deeply you are involved in music, Tim. And like I said, I'll be definitely excited to hear some more about that trio once you guys start laying some stuff down. But yeah,
Do you have any like recordings or albums out with the Tim Houston trio?
Yeah, for sure. I believe it's on Bandcamp at the moment, though, but I want to add all of it to the streaming platforms and everything like that. But
Okay.
everything's just kind of nested in my link tree at the moment. So
cool. Well, we'll definitely throw that in the link or description or whatever of this video for everyone listening here, so you could check out what Tim has right now going on. And yeah, we'll definitely be looking out for that on the mainstream platforms as well.
sweet.
Klep, you have anything else for Mr. Houston before we give him the encore?
Not off the top of my head, no.
Love it. Well, Tim, as I just said, we always do an encore here on Vinyl Stallions, where we ask each guest one question. And the question is as simple as this: what is your most memorable concert experience? And you preface it in a very good way, or it could be a very other way where you're like, what did I just fucking see? And it could be you playing or attending. And if you've got a couple, feel free to rattle some off, but let them rip.
I think this, I guess, is just the one that comes to mind. I might have some tied for it or whatever, but the mathcore band I used to play in, we don't play anymore, but this band Noise Says, we were playing a show in Georgia somewhere, like a house show, and the floor to the house broke while we were playing, and luckily it was the foundation was right below it, so it didn't drop that far, but it was definitely a shock. And then right after that, everyone insisted that we finish the set outside, but it was like a Sunday night, and we were like, okay, like everyone wanted it to happen at the show. I don't know if we wanted it to happen necessarily, but we were like, okay, fine. So we sat up out there. Also, our set was like, I believe it was something like 12 or 13 minutes, and it was just like blisteringly loud and complex, but it was so short. We were like, we can probably pull this off somehow. So we went out there and started playing, and it was like a very populated area. So like people were opening their windows all up and down the block. People were like coming outside, like onto the street. They were like, "Shut up!" And like cop cars was rolling up. And I think we finished the set like before the cops stormed the yard. But
That's incredible.
That's probably the most memorable one,
Whoa.
just because of how ludicrous it was.
Yeah,
Wait,
that'd be
hang
tough to
on.
take the cake over that.
Wait, I have a question. So were you set up on the inside and like already playing and then it fell? Or like was this pre you guys starting to play?
Yeah, we were in like the middle of the set, and I guess the mosh pit broke the floor.
And like all the instruments and like everything like fell through and then you just picked them up.
Well, yeah, like luckily it
outside.
wasn't that like the foundation wasn't that far below the floor, so everything just kind of dropped an inch.
Okay, so
we're
all
like,
right,
okay,
so
we gotta- Yeah. And also
Wow.
it was crazy because like since it was like a show house and they were stoked on the band, they were just kind of they were like, "Oh, you guys broke my floor. That's sick." Like, okay, yeah. I mean, I don't think you're gonna think that tomorrow, but yeah, sure. We're
Wow.
sorry, but I'm glad that you're stoked.
That is badass. That is unbelievable. And then to go and set up and play again, that's awesome.
Yeah, it was fun. It was a good
Yeah,
time.
yeah. No, that was a great one, man. Thanks for sharing.
Sure.
Hell yeah, Tim. Well, appreciate you taking some time here early December to chat here on Vinyl Stallions. Again, go check out Remo Drive, everybody. Again, we'll have Tim's all of his where to follow him, Bandcamp, and all that good stuff in the description below.
Tim
did we-
Houston Trio.
Yeah. Tim, did we miss anything, or you want to give a shout out to anything else?
No, I think that's about it. I got everything in my my link tree. Yeah, everything's just kind of on Instagram. I keep it pretty tight in the digital age.
Love it. That's what we like it tight here on Vinyl Stallions. And again, we hope to see y'all come through or something here in Ohio in 2025, and we'll for sure try to link up. But shout out again to Tanner Wirtz linking us up here. But besides that, my name is Spruce.
I'm Klep.
And this has been
I'm Tim.
another episode of Vinyl Stallions. Bada bang, Tim. Hell yeah. Thanks again for coming on, brother.